Okay.
All right. So I have to say, don't take offense, but I have a question of some part I just don't quite understand. Because I work often with clients on subconscious beliefs and working in that realm. And what I noticed was different in the work that you do is that we are saying negative affirming statements when we're tapping.
Right.
Now, granted, it works tremendously well. I feel great at the end of the session. But the first time, and I thought, why are we affirming the negative?
Yeah.
Can you tell me why? I mean, I realize it's working.
That's the best question.
Counterintuitive for sure for me.
And lots of people ask that question and can't get over that idea of voicing the negative while tapping.
There's almost a little fear, like I don't want to.
Yeah, for sure. And you have to be delicate sometimes. If something is already really pressured and feels really terrible, then and a person doesn't understand how this really works, then that can feel scary, like too scary to do that. But once you understand the reason for it, it becomes a lot easier to do that. So the idea of expressing the negative is that you already have that negative stuff in your mind.
Okay.
It's either consciously floating around in your mind, making you feel bad, or it's subconsciously in your mind, making you feel bad.
Affecting your whole life.
Affecting your whole life, and you don't even know it.
Right.
But it's in there. So as soon as you begin to identify, oh, yeah, that's the negative voice in my head, or that's the negative belief that I don't really want anymore.
Like naming it, calling it by name?
It's part of, naming it and becoming more aware of it is all part of the process. And then as you're tapping around these points, you're saying it as if it is your truth, but only your truth in that moment, as a feeling or a negative thought that you're expelling.
So as we're tapping, saying the negativity, it's as if it's leaving?
That's the way I think of it, as if you're purging it, you're dispelling it.
By stating it?
Dissolving it.
Okay.
And in fact, that is really literally what you're doing, because what the tapping is doing is it's activating your subtle nervous system. And it's communicating to your nervous system a state of calmness and peace and well-being. And it's lowering your stress hormones, which is cortisol. And it's releasing, soothing hormones and chemical things in the body by doing this. So that is part of what's dissolving the negativity of your thoughts that you're expressing.
But I'm not associating then a good feeling with the negative thought. It's that I'm stimulating the more subtle energy fields as to dissolving the negative statement.
Yeah, you don't even have to think about what is really going on behind the scenes. As long as you just keep tapping while voicing the negative, it's doing the job it needs to do. And
less thinking, more doing.
That's exactly right, yeah.
Okay.
So it's loosening the hold that your mind has to those thoughts. And the greatest thing that I've seen happen is when we're getting really negative, like really going for it, saying, I'm worthless, nobody loves me, I'm no good, I'm never going to succeed, nobody in my family ever succeeds, or whatever. And at some point it becomes so exaggerated and so over the top that the person starts to laugh.
Which is huge.
It's really huge, because that laughter is an indication that your mind has begun to catch itself in a lie.
Brilliant. Yeah. Well, and I've noticed too, I know they say laughter is the best medicine, but what I've noticed when I've worked with people in other modalities is that the moment it goes from grief or anger, sadness to laughter, it has lifted.
Yeah, completely.
It's already
shifts the whole
gone
paradigm.
At that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the idea. It's getting it out, purging it. It's not telling you, it's not affirming the negative.
I like what you said. You're basically catching your mind in a lie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Until you realize how ridiculous this truth of worthlessness or...
And so sometimes people will naturally start to laugh or just feel so much lightness in their body after tapping that they feel kind of giggly and giddy. But even if you don't get to that sort of a feeling, it's still doing the job. Just by saying it. The fact that you're tapping and saying it is already a message to yourself that you're getting rid of it.
I like that.
You're not telling yourself that those things are actually true.
Yeah. And I have noticed that when we've worked together, it almost goes from seriousness to silliness feeling in my body. Like the cells get happier. It is as if it's saying it over and over makes it ridiculous.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Brilliant. Thank you. That helps me understand.
Good question.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I like that it's a different way to approach it, because a lot of times we're told almost not to affirm or claim a negative thought and push it away, or that's not my reality.
We become so afraid of saying those negative things to anyone or even to ourselves that it actually suppresses it more and makes it build up and become even worse.
So just by acknowledging it, then it's easier to release it.
Yeah, so and that's kind of the mindfulness aspect of doing this.
Absolutely. Yeah. Not shoving it away anymore.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay.